everyone.
What is up, guys? Unofficial MCU here. Hope you're all doing well, and in today's video we have some pretty crazy Marvel news. It seems that it's finally gotten within the walls of Marvel Studios and under Disney. It seems that Marvel had recently got pitched a Chris Evans starring Disney Plus series show by an MCU actor, and I think you all know very well what that Disney Plus show or series would very well be about. The common fan theory or fan want out there, just the fan discussion amongst the community, is that fans would love to see a Steve Rogers with Chris Evans returning, having him a short limited series about him returning the Infinity Stones essentially after the events of Avengers Endgame, and then seeing him end up as an old man essentially, somewhere like along those lines of essentially what that Disney Plus show or series would consist of. Guys, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna hop right on into it, break it all down for you guys, everything that we know and everything that we would be anticipating right now. Before we do, though, however, grab that subscribe button if you haven't already, as we're discussing and covering all types of Marvel-related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel. So if you guys are into any of that, go ahead and grab that subscribe button today. Okay, so in this video, we are going to be taking a quick read from the direct article as an overall garnering source. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. So multiple times now at this point, Marvel Studios has been pitched a Steve Rogers-led Disney Plus series by one of their own actors, though, however, around this time at this point. I think it's no secret that, Disney, Marvel Studios have probably seen that common fan theory out there amongst the fans of, oh, what if they did a Chris Evans returning as Steve Rogers, coming back to do a limited series about him returning the Infinity Stones and going through that process, what that would be about essentially after the events of Avengers Endgame. When people think about Chris Evans 99 times out of 100, they're going to recall his MCU run as the Captain America Steve Rogers, or the first Captain America. For 9 consecutive years, Chris Evans, with the help of some razor-sharp screenwriting, had managed to imbue Steve Rogers with an unmatched level of humanity, sensitivity, and unflagging drive as one of the greatest superhero characters alive. And so, if you don't think about Chris Evans as Captain America, then you may think about him as the Human Torch. Steve Rogers was and still remains a fan favorite for MCU fans, so of course there are some who wish to see the character yet again, despite his very much so being pretty different and kind of definitively written off after Avengers Endgame, to have that kind of retirement that the character has always kind of deserved. So now, more recently, Ross Marquand, who plays the Red Skull in Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, recently had pitched this idea to Marvel Studios, saying that he wants a Captain America series about that. During a panel on Friday, September 20th, a couple of weeks ago now, held at Edmonton Expo in Alberta, Canada, actor Ross Marquand was on hand to discuss his roles within the MCU, as for his own self making a return as well. Marquand has also been the voice of Ultron in the animated What If series and appeared in live action in Avengers Infinity War and Endgame as the Stonekeeper, aka an even creepier incarnation of the villainous Red Skull. And he's not the same actor that played the original Red Skull from the Avengers, or from Captain America the First Avenger. That was a different guy. But for reference, he has a pretty big name out there, a face out there when it comes to comic book storytelling on the actual screen, as he also plays Aaron from The Walking Dead. So yeah, he has a pretty big range, I think, from there as well. Now, while on stage, Marquand had mentioned that he had pitched a Disney Plus streaming series as a limited series to Marvel Studios, one that would explore Steve Rogers on his quest to return the 6 Infinity Stones to their rightful spots across the different timelines visited in Avengers Endgame. Now, Marquand has also mentioned his Captain America focused pitch before, and that the reason he likely wants to see it to be made so badly is because there would undoubtedly be a part for him to make a return as Red Skull for the MCU. Now, when Hugo Weaving, the original Red Skull actor, didn't return for the last 2 Avengers movies, Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, to play Red Skull in that, Ross Marquand had stepped in and played that role pretty dang good in comparison to the first Red Skull actor. Not that he played it horrible, but this means that if the series Marquand is pinning for there to be produced, Marvel would in all likelihood have him take on the Stonekeeper once again, to have him return. And so, this here all being said, I think the likelihood of it and this becoming actually a thing is very plausible. It's something that we very well could and honestly should see by the end of the multiversal saga. I think is something that a lot of fans would really love. It would be, for one, a very reasonable, a very meaningful Disney Plus series. There's a lot of one-off Disney Plus series, at least at this points of given time, that just haven't really gone anywhere. They have post-credit scenes that set things up for these characters, but you look at it and it was like 2 years ago. For example, I think White Vision in the WandaVision series from 2021 is a prime example of that. And I know these things take time, especially when you have so many different storylines, plot lines going on, so many different characters, but it is also at the same time like, when are we going to get on with this? When is this going to have a meaning of it? And by the time that we evidently do get around to seeing White Vision and what happened to White Vision after WandaVision, essentially, a lot of fans are going to be either confused, like, wait, who is this guy again, essentially, not remember the character pretty much, or not care for the character pretty much, essentially. So things like that of that nature, where you have these Disney Plus series from Marvel that just don't have a lot of meaning to them, essentially, and I'm not saying that goes for all of them. I'm not really trying to dog crap on Marvel Disney Plus shows. I really love all of them, if you guys know anything about me here on the channel. So having a Chris Evans led Captain America Steve Rogers Disney Plus series, for one, I definitely think would be very meaningful. For another, he is no stranger, Chris Evans, to returning to the MCU after the summer, reappearing in Deadpool and Wolverine, not as Captain America or Steve Rogers, even though he was being employed to, or kind of set up to, and even referenced it. Deadpool calls him Captain America, but then he does the iconic flame on, so he's really playing the Human Torch from the original Fantastic Four movies. Ever since Steve Rogers' story was closed out in 2019 with Avengers Endgame, there have been calls for Chris Evans to reprise the original Captain America. In fact, Deadpool and Wolverine played around with this notion when Chris Evans made an unexpected cameo. His first excitably mistaken by Wade Wilson to be Captain America, only for the movie to swerve and reveal the actor as the Human Torch in this timeline. Whether or not Chris Evans would make a comeback to take on the Shield once again probably comes down to the story at the end of the day. I think the money's there, Disney. Evans has previously admitted that he's very protective of the character and the legacy that's been built with Captain America. So for him to kind of be, coaxed back, Marvel Studios would likely need a darn good arc in place, a story worth telling, essentially. But this all being said, guys, let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you guys are all thinking. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Of course, this has been Unofficial MCU. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one. Peace out.